A man is facing multiple felony charges after he allegedly posed as an Uber driver
and then stole hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency from customers by accessing their phones. Fox 10's Nicole Christine joins us live with details. This is a sophisticated crime, but in a way simple. It's amazing how quickly this guy was able to get that information off riders' phones.
Yeah, it sure was. John and Christina, this is the scene where this was happening outside of the W in Scottsdale, and they say that Nuru Hussein picked up two victims, one in March, one in October. They say he posed as an Uber driver, and then his secret motive, one that was sophisticated yet simple, as you said, John, was to steal over $200,000 combined in cryptocurrency. Prosecutors say the alleged scheme started in both cases with Nuru Hussein calling out the names of his supposed Uber passengers. Once in the vehicle, court documents allege he had two different ways of getting the victims' phones, either by saying his was dead or by offering to help troubleshoot the Uber app when it said one victim's driver had not arrived. Once the phone was in his hands, court documents say he was able to transfer a combined $223,000 in cryptocurrency, either by phone-to-phone transfer or phone-to-cold storage. The victim from March told police when they asked for their phone back, Hussein gave a concerning response.
He made threats to at least one of the victims that they needed to chill or something bad would happen, and the victim believed that he was armed with a gun, although he did not see a weapon at that time.
Due to the alleged threats and the level of skill shown in the fraud, prosecutors pushed for a cash-only bond of $200,000.
If Mr. Hussein is able to post bond, we'd ask for electronic monitoring, and I'd also ask for no use of the internet. Given that this was an extremely sophisticated electronic fraud, we do not want Mr. Hussein to potentially destroy further evidence if it exists.
The state also argued that Hussein is a flight risk due to frequent trips to Ethiopia.
You are not to leave Maricopa County. That's part of my orders today. I understand the state is saying that you do go back and forth. You have to stay here.
Now, the judge did place Hussein under a $200,000 secured bond, so he has the opportunity to go through a bond company if possible or pay himself. And also, he will be under electronic monitoring if he does bond out. His next court appearance is scheduled for later this month. Reporting live tonight in Scottsdale, Nicole Christine, Fox 10 News.
Phoenix police arrest a student after finding a gun in a backpack. This happened this morning at Kyrene Altadena Middle School off Desert Foothills Parkway and Chandler Boulevard. The gun was not loaded. The student was charged with misconduct involving a weapon. The team was booked into a juvenile correction facility, and police say there was no threat to the school or any other students.
When it comes to elections, sadly, Arizona has become something of a national punchline, because it seems to take us so long to get election results here. We lag often behind other states when it comes to vote counting.
Instead of taking hours, sometimes it takes several days, weeks. Fox 10's Brian Webb is live tonight with the details. Brian.
Well, remember, it took Arizona until November 15th to finish counting ballots this time around. That's 10 days after the election and long after most other states had finished. So now a new plan to speed up the process. Election workers count ballots round the clock, but quickly fall behind other states to complete the task.
Better safe than sorry. Give me an exact vote.
If Florida can count twice as many votes in half the time, it's wrong.
Just taking the time to verify and make sure everything's accurate, I don't see a problem with that.
Now a new proposal to speed up the process, a new bill with new rules introduced by Republican Warren Peterson.
Almost all the other states are able to do it. We can do it too.
Peterson says the measures address the two main hiccups: a new cutoff to drop off early mail-in ballots to Friday 7 p.m. before Election Day, and early in-person voting will require a state ID and signature instead of stuffing it into an envelope.
Right now, when you vote early in person, you're putting your ballot into an envelope, and then later on somebody has to signature verify and open up the envelope. So we're taking that process away.
The November ballot came on 2 pages, covered 265 contests, and included nearly 250,000 early ballots dropped off on Election Day. State lawmaker Annalise Ortiz calls this manufactured outrage by Republicans.
It looks like it has the nice excuse of, let's go ahead and speed up the election results. But I'm just not buying it, because if a single voter is turned away or discouraged from waiting in line, that means that they are not making their voice heard. And in a democracy, everyone should have free and fair and easy access to make their voice heard.
This bill would also give you a couple of extra days to mail in early ballots. It will likely take a couple of months if it makes it to the governor's desk. Live in Phoenix, Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
So we want to know what you think. Our Fox 10 poll question asks, should the deadline to drop off early ballots be moved to the Friday before Election Day? You can vote by scanning the QR code on your screen or head to our website. So far, 69% of people say no, it should not be moved. So if you would like to alter the results or weigh in, you can do that on our website. Valley doctors are weighing in on a recent breakout of bird flu cases across the valley.
This comes as 5 animals just died at the Wildlife World Zoo. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum joins us now with what you need to know about this virus. And I guess the first thing up is really, to people, there's not a great threat, right?
That's true, and we are going to get into that in just a moment. But to be clear, DHS is on alert coming off this rash of cases. Officials say that the concern is not too high at this point, but it's important to remain aware yet stay calm, as majority of these cases are happening among animals across the valley.
When it comes to avian flu, illness happens to be very mild.
Reassurance from Dr. Joel Tariquez with the state's Department of Health Services. Cases started popping up in November, with birds at a poultry farm in Pinal County showing signs of illness. Another flock of poultry in Maricopa County tested positive for bird flu last month, per DHS. Last week, officials reported the first human H5 cases in Arizona. Both people were exposed to infected poultry while working at a facility in Pinal County. Officials say they had mild symptoms and have since recovered.
Human-to-human transmission has not been proven, and risk for infection is only high for those individuals that are handling ill animals without the appropriate protective equipment.
On Wednesday, Wildlife World Zoo told Fox 10 that 6 animals tested positive for the virus. 5 died, including a cheetah and mountain lion. The park says the root of the spread came from wild birds that don't live in the facility. Most recently in Coconino County, health officials say bird flu has been detected in wastewater, but there are no reports of human or animal cases right now.
So it's really at this point about worker protection, gloves, masks, that sort of thing.
Will Humble is the executive director of the Arizona Public Health Association and former director of the state's health department. He says those who work in the poultry or cattle industry need to take precaution. So there is a chance that this could turn into a human-to-human transmission, but the likelihood is low right now as you see it.
Yeah, that's correct. The likelihood, I think, is quite low right now, but, it's not impossible.
According to the CDC, there have been nearly 60 confirmed human cases of the H5 bird flu, the majority in California with 32 cases, followed by Washington and Colorado. The sources of exposure vary between cattle and poultry. Dr. William Carroll with IntraCare has some advice.
If you haven't gotten the flu vaccine yet, you really should get one. I was expecting a surge after Thanksgiving. I have not seen one, thank goodness. But that means that we're probably going to have our typical Arizona flu season, which is the flus usually after January.
So what's going on right now? ADHS says they work with different jurisdictions and agencies, specifically the Department of Agriculture, to keep monitoring animals that are impacted in these cases, and while officials are also providing the monitoring of humans that are interacting with these infected animals, providing medication if they are in need of it. In the control room, Justin Lum, Fox 10 News.
Justin, thanks. By the way, we checked in with the Phoenix Zoo to see if they've found any cases of bird flu in the animals, and they have been testing for it for over 2 years. The zoo is also taking steps to prevent migrating wild birds from spending time on zoo grounds and in exhibits where they may impact the collection. By the way, no exhibits have been closed, no cases have shown up.